subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be a Patriot. Support us, take your Patriot t-shirt, link in description. If you'd like to see more Patriot news, please support us by donating. Link in description.
Obama real legacy. He broke 78 laws as president, and here's the list. You'll be shocked. The rundown is long, and is a striking record of Obama's genuine legacy, the one the media savants and Democrats won't delineate for you. 1. Illegally armed Mexican drug cartels and ISIS militants. In Operation Fast and Furious, the Obama administration facilitated the sale of thousands of guns to Mexican drug cartels and stopped tracking those weapons once they crossed the border, so the administration could later blame the Second Amendment. The Department of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives apparently ordered one of its own agents to purchase firearms with taxpayer money and sell them directly to a Mexican drug cartel, the New York Post reported. Let that sink in. After months of pretending that Fast and Furious was a botched surveillance operation of illegal gun running spearheaded by the ATF and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Phoenix, it turns out that the government itself was selling guns to the bad guys. Even more shocking, President Obama authorized a shipment of guns to the Syrian opposition, aka ISIS-linked militants, on the exact same day he demanded more gun control in response to the Oregon shooting. The president also emphasized to his team that the U.S. would continue to support the Syrian opposition as Russia enters the war-torn country, CNN reported in October. But virtually all of the rebels in Syria have pledged allegiance to the Islamic State since at least 2013. The Free Syrian Army and the Syrian National Council, the vaunted bulwarks of the moderate opposition, only really exist in hotel lobbies and the minds of Western diplomats, journalist Ben Reynolds wrote in November. There is simply no real separation between moderate rebel groups and hardline Salafists allied with al-Qaeda. 2. Attempting to shut down gun stores outside of law. In a classic case of criminal racketeering, the U.S. Department of Justice was pressuring banks to refuse service to gun stores in a program entitled Operation Choke Point. Under the program started in 2014 if not before, the DOJ was attempting to shut down legal gun dealers by coercing financial institutions to close the bank and merchant accounts associated with their businesses. In 2012, Bank of America told a gun company, Macmillan Group International, that because the company was expanding into firearms manufacturing, the bank no longer wanted Macmillan's business. We have to assess the risk of doing business with a firearms-related industry, the bank's representative told Operations Director Callie Macmillan. And not long after, BitPay, a U.S.-based Bitcoin processor, likewise refused to do business with gun dealer Michael Cargill of Central Texas Gunworks due to a similar policy. 3. Spent tax dollars to resettle illegals inside U.S. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol has been purchasing bus tickets and vouchers for illegal immigrants in order to ship them deeper into the country at taxpayers' expense, according to a McAllen, Texas city official. They're not bringing them here, they're bringing them to our bus terminals because that's where the Border Patrol understands that they have transportation to go to the interior, McAllen, Texas City Attorney Kevin Pagan said in an interview with InfoWars. So they're dropping them off, and it's our understanding that they were dropped off with tickets or with vouchers for tickets, but it turns out that some of them tonight did not have their tickets or their vouchers for tickets, or like I said their buses are tomorrow, so they have nowhere to stay. Several months earlier, Obama ordered the Border Patrol to stand down from protecting the border and enforcing immigration laws. We are simply being ordered to stand down and stop tracking and trying to apprehend the criminals, Sean Moran, vice president of the National Border Patrol Council, told Breitbart. 4. Using executive action to restrict Second Amendment, Obama decided to use his pen and his phone to enact gun control without congressional approval. Without a Democratic majority in Congress, And faced with a GOP that is firmly against any form of gun control measures, Obama has repeatedly warned that he would act on his own, Zero Hedge reported. For one thing, Obama is attempting to require private sellers to conduct background checks. The action, officials explained, would include guidance on how the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives will now determine who is engaged in the business of selling firearms under federal law and, therefore, who is required to obtain a license to sell firearms, the Washington Free Beacon reported. Obama may also try and prevent people on the no-fly list from being able to purchase guns, which violates the Fifth Amendment's guarantee of due process by allowing the government to deprive people of their rights based only on suspicion. Additionally, numerous law-abiding Americans have been wrongly placed on the no-fly list due to false information, clerical errors or political persecution. The U.S. government maintains a massive watch list system that risks stigmatizing hundreds of thousands of people, including U.S. citizens, as terrorism suspects based on vague, overbroad, and often secret standards and evidence, the ACLU reported. The consequences of being placed on a government watch list can be far-reaching. They can include questioning, harassment, or detention by authorities, or even an indefinite ban on air travel. 5. Illegally targeted conservative groups via IRS. Obama's IRS had illegally targeted conservative groups for additional reviews of their tax status applications. Organizations with the phrases Tea Party or Patriot in their names were singled out for harassment, such as requiring them to provide information about their family members, their social media posts and a list of donors. Obama had met with a key IRS official who was involved in the targeting just 2 days before the key official told his colleagues how to target conservative groups. The Daily Caller reported, the Obama appointee implicated in congressional testimony in the IRS targeting scandal met with President Obama in the White House 2 days before offering his colleagues a new set of advice on how to scrutinize Tea Party and conservative groups applying for tax-exempt status. IRS Chief Counsel William Wilkins, who was named in House oversight testimony by retiring IRS agent Carter Hull as one of his supervisors in the improper targeting of conservative groups, met with Obama in the Roosevelt Room of the White House on April 23, 2012. Wilkins' boss, then IRS Commissioner Douglas Shulman, visited the Eisenhower Executive Office building on April 24, 2012, according to White House visitor logs. On April 25, 2012, Wilkins' office sent the Exempt Organizations Determinations Unit additional comments on the draft guidance for approving or denying Tea Party tax-exempt applications, according to the IRS Inspector General's report. During Obama's first 4 years as president, IRS Commissioner Douglas Shulman made 157 visits to the White House. This is more visits to the White House, by a very large margin, than any other cabinet member during Obama's first term, journalist Tim Brown revealed. By comparison, during the 4 years that Mark Everson was IRS Commissioner when Bush was president, Everson made only 1 visit to the White House. 6. Secretly obtained phone records from Associated Press journalists. In May 2013, Associated Press reported, the Justice Department secretly obtained 2 months of telephone records of reporters and editors for the Associated Press in what the news cooperative's top executive called a massive and unprecedented intrusion into how news organizations gather the news. The records obtained by the Justice Department listed outgoing calls for the work and personal phone numbers of individual reporters, general app office numbers in New York, Washington and Hartford, Connecticut, and the main number for app reporters in the House of Representatives press gallery, according to attorneys for the app. It was not clear if the records also included incoming calls or the duration of calls. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comments section below. Share the truth, be patriots. Thank you for reading.